Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Jean Bar. And I am joined by none other than Opium 4200. You guys may know her from YouTube. If you haven't, I will leave a link to her video down in the description below so that you guys can head over and check her channel out if you haven't already. She does some really good stuff, and she's a newer player. So those of you who are newer, maybe you don't like to be, hearing things from experienced players all the time. Maybe you want to see a newer player's perspective. I'm not saying she's new anymore, but she's newer. You know, I don't know exactly how many games she's got at this point, but I want to say it's sub 3,000 games played. So, yeah, head over there, give her some love, say you're from the Spartan Army, and, yeah, let's get straight into this. Now, just a little preface. I was going to record live comms, but I always, every time I record live comms with anybody, you guys tend to be a little bit negative towards that person. So I just figured, screw it, no live comms. We'll go for a just a regular old voiceover. We're in the Jean Bart. We're on shards. We got the B-spawn. You know, all the pluses, right? All the good things that you could ever ask for. Oh, it's a carrier game, too, but there's only one destroyer, so that's a positive. But we're going to move over towards the right side of this middle island, and I'm going to post up and see what we can get away with early in this game. Now, I've got to tell you guys, this is kind of a crazy game. This is going to be one of those games that's a little bit ridiculous. But we're going to take a shot at this broadside of Magi here, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I am running the Jean Bart build. If you guys are unfamiliar, this is a full reload build Jean Bart, okay? I call it Jean Bart because Bert, you know, brr. Or should I say, that was kind of a weak Bert, let's be real. It's more of a brr. Yeah, you guys don't know, A10 Thunderbolt, just saying. Anyway, or the Warthog, if you want to call it the Warthog. It's the same-ish thing, you know, but the Thunderbolt 2, baby, love it. One of the most iconic American aircrafts of all time. I mean, we did invent flying, for God's sake, so we're pretty good at it. Bart and Bert invented flying! Technically, no they didn't. Technically, it would have been dinosaurs that invented flying first, or bugs. One or the other. Somebody's gonna have to let me know. But wait first! I went on a whole tangent there. I apologize. This is just what I do sometimes. But first shot out on the Azuma. We get a Citadel. We're doing pretty good here. And again, pay attention to the reload on this thing. That's what I want you guys to watch. As we start to do more and more damage, I want you guys to see what the reload ends up on this thing, right? Because as soon as we cross 30,000 damage, we get our first buff, right? Because we're running the Epic mod. But unfortunately, these early shots are just not quite working out in my favor. But it's okay, because you keep sailing broadside because you keep getting away with it. Eventually, RNG is just going to catch up to you, okay? Ask this Cross of Dort. Wait for it. Pow! You can't keep doing it. If you get away with it once, thank your lucky stars, change what you're doing, start zigzagging, speeding up, slowing down, turning to whatever you gotta do, just change what you're doing. You can't continue to sail in a straight line broadside, because you're gonna get blapped. Just like the Azuma did, just like the Cross of Doran, the Amagi, like they all have been blapped, and we've got our first epic reload, buff. So, yeah, we're just like that. And we're almost ready to get a second one. So here, we're about to be loaded. Azuma, once again, just absolutely begging for it. We take the shot. Now, pay attention to the map. There's nobody near us, right? There's a couple of people at the sea spawn. Our destroyer's in there. We Citadel, once again, the Azuma. And suddenly, we've got a second buff to our reload. Meaning that our reload is now like 17 or 18 seconds. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Now, I could potentially get this lower. I don't think this is the full reload build, because if I remember correctly, my Jean Bart build could get down to about 17 seconds on its own, and that's before buffs. So I don't think that this is actually the full Jean Bart build. I may have changed my build for my commander slightly for my Republique, or my République, as some people would like to talk. Opie in the background probably just yelled at me, I'm not gonna lie. But I know she's not here. I'm just saying, like, if she hears this and hears the way I said it to begin with, she's probably going to be upset with me, because she really gets on me about my French pronunciations. Apparently, I'm really bad at it. Who'd have thunk it? I can barely speak English. Ask all the British folk out there. I can barely speak English, let alone French. But Azuma, once again, just freaking begging for it. He's turning out. He's opening up the angle even more. This dude deserves to be yeeted. Please, give it to me. But it doesn't, unfortunately. We do get a couple of overpins. We get one full pin. And you can see I'm measuring up the Amagi. I am begging for this Amagi to go a little bit faster. He gets to that next little dip. There's a chance that I could squeeze a shell through there. But unfortunately, he's just going to kind of sit still. The Amagi, or the Azuma, is trying to burn us down, so we're like, okay, it is at that point in the match, okay? We're just over 5 minutes into this match. We've got the enemy on this side softened up pretty good. It's time to start moving in, and the Prince Heinrich is getting the same sort of feeling. And unfortunately for him, he decides to come out a little bit too soon, and we catch him full broadside, but he gets very lucky. And again, this is a theme among people. People don't understand that when you get caught broadside and you get away with it, that you just got really lucky. Now, obviously, somebody behind me touched him. Wasn't me. I don't know if it was Opie or if it was the other battleship back there, but somebody touched him. And we knew he was torping, right? There's only one reason that a German battleship with torpedoes, or anything with torpedoes for that matter, comes out full broadside at the ranges that they do. And it's because they're trying to torp you. I don't know why. I don't know if they think they're being slick, but everybody knows it. Okay, the times that I get caught with torpedoes are when A, they're meant for somebody else, and I just happen to cross in front of them and I didn't realize it. Or B, you have, like, slow torpedoes. And the German battle cruisers do have slower torpedoes. But in that situation, he's full broadside. I'm anticipating the torps, right? I know by now you're torping. And we get rid of him pretty quickly. We're going to now move into the cap, start denying the points for the enemy team. Now, the enemy is down 3 ships. We're down 1. Now, at this point, I was feeling pretty good. Opie, on the other hand, she's in the middle of the map, and there's a destroyer in the Bravo cap. How do I know this? Because somebody's in the cap and nobody's spotted. Generally speaking, that means there's a destroyer there. Now, there is a Georgia going from the Charlie cap over through the middle towards Bravo. And unfortunately for Opie and the battleship behind me, that Georgia is actually in a decent position to crossfire them. I moved forward quick enough, and I didn't get caught by it. So I don't have to worry about that Georgia. I do have to worry about the Georgia off my bow. Now, what happens next is I move into this cap, and my sole purpose here is to grab this cap, right? Again, domination, get the caps, get those XP bonuses, deny the enemy points, get your team securing the win, right? That's the goal. Secure the win. You're in a domination. Map control is important. Cap control is important. Now here, I'm paying attention to the map. I got an Iowa right on the edge of my range. I got the Georgia on the edge of my range. I'm looking at the Georgia initially, but I'm like, okay, he's low health. He'll probably get finished off, right? Well, how about that? Those guys that are at the Charlie cap, I'm not exactly sure what's going on over there, but that Georgia's going to be a problem for Opie, like I said. And I wasn't ready for it. Like, I legitimately thought that guy was going to die pretty quickly. He was pretty low health, so I was like, I'll just leave him for my teammates to finish, right? Because everybody knows that you got to rely on your teammates in a team-based game, generally speaking. And we all know exactly how that turns out, more often than not. So, instead of relying on our teammates, we're going to force the issue. We're going to force this Georgia out from behind his rock. He's going to have to move forward or he's going to get flanked. Opie's on the front side of the island. I'm on the back side of the island. Unfortunately, Opie was in the Constellation, and the Georgia definitely overmatches. But she was already hurting from the other Georgia. Now here, I come around the corner and watch me go into my front turret camera here, and I go through. And I actually ended up firing just a little bit too soon, clipped the rock with a couple of those rounds, and I didn't quite get the shot that I wanted. I may have aimed too far forward. I needed to go through that rear cheek into the Citadel from behind the rear turret. Didn't quite pull it off, but as he's starting to come out, I know that the Azuma is on my left, right? Like, I can see the plane. I know that he's there. I know he's very low health, but he turned away. So I'm thinking, okay, well, we got some time. I've got the carrier on me. I'm going to get ready to shoot. What happens next is something that I don't understand at all. Now, I'm not saying what happens next with the Georges. Like that, whatever. That's not that bad of a trade. One battleship, not that big a deal. That was a very healthy Georgia. Getting him out of the board, especially if our guy was low health. I didn't get to see how healthy he was, but either way, getting him out of here, I knew that this destroyer was coming. You could see him approaching because of our carrier, right? And first shot out, I don't know if that was my aim or if I just got incredibly unlucky. I'll just give that one to me. That was my aim, right? Like, that was just me aiming too far ahead or something. Then this happens, and I'm like, okay, well, fine. Aim ahead. What? No! I refuse to believe that I just missed him twice in 2 salvos at this range. And at this point, I was like, okay, surely I will get him this time, right, game? Because I wouldn't screw this up a 3rd time, and this time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait. He jukes back. That's a guaranteed kill. Bonk. And then we've saved a round to make sure that we can shoot the Azuma to get him off the board as well. The team takes down the other Georgia finally after all this time. We take torpedoes, and of course we get flooded by the carrier, but we managed to take out the destroyer, which took way too long, and we managed to take out the Azuma, which gives our team the best possible chance. There's just an Iowa in the center of the map. Our carrier should be able to help. Our guys have the cap advantage. We have the points advantage. And then after the Iowa, it is simply the carrier, right? So overall, this ended up being a pretty solid game. I wouldn't say it's a barn burner game, but 4 kills, putting the team on my back and carrying, and then having just RNG give me one right there. Give me the middle finger at the end of the game where I just completely missed on 2 full salvos from point blank on a destroyer. Like, that, I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt on the first shot. I'll be like, okay, that was my bad aim, whatever. That second shot was solely a part of the game. So here's what happened, and I'll explain it for those of you who don't know. This game uses auto-aim to determine where your shells go. Wait, what do you mean? I mean that if you are locked onto a target, no matter where you decide to aim, the game will aim for you. Now, obviously, this isn't that big a deal most of the time. Most of the things that you're locked onto are big, slower moving targets, so you're not going to notice the auto-aim situations. When will you notice the auto-aim screwing you over? And I'm not saying that this is something like, this is not new. This is something that's happened forever, okay? This is just a part of the game, okay? You just got to get used to it and try to make sure that you avoid it. You know what causes it, but definitely need to try to avoid it. But there are 2 situations. One is a destroyer who is juking, like that destroyer was, right? So what he's doing is he's trying to trick the auto-aim to make the shells miss. Now, I was manually aiming. You guys saw me put the shell, or put the cursor out ahead of him, leading the target, trying to aim just beyond him because I'm expecting him to turn back to the left, right? That was the whole purpose of me aiming. But because of the auto-aim in the game, which, by the way, there isn't on PC, okay? There's no auto-aim on PC. On console, we got auto-aim because we're terrible, apparently. But anyway, on console, we have auto-aim. And the problem with auto-aim is that it will always out-thank you, right? Like, it's not a good thing, by the way. It's not. You can use auto-aim in certain situations where it comes in really, really handy. When you can't see somebody on the back side of the island or whatever. You can just lock onto a target, zoom in and out a couple of times to adjust your aim a little bit, and you'll be able to lob an island and hit the target relatively consistently. And a lot of times, it aims pretty well for the citadel of a ship. This might not always be a good thing if you can't pin him or whatever. Also, can we just bring out the fact that they must have buffed the Graf Zeppelin at some point in the recent buffs, because this man has a full secondary build, and this destroyer is going to screw himself over something fierce here. He's going to eat a torpedo here, which was just bad on his part. But he's freaking out because of the secondaries of that Graf Zeppelin, and he's not staying in his smoke screen, so he's continuing to be spotted. He's outrunning his smoke. He's freaking out. He's panicking, and he now has to dodge torpedoes the other direction. And is he going to dodge? Yes, he dodges, but unfortunately opens up and gets shredded by some more of those Graf Zeppelin secondaries. And, come on, I'm rooting for the Graf Zeppelin at this point, I'm not going to lie, because this is a meme that I've always wanted to do. And since they finally, seemingly, have gotten secondaries on this thing relatively fixed, because it was a piece of crap for the longest time. And the only reason anybody played the Graf Zeppelin on PC is because of those secondaries. It's a meme. It's fun. It's a joke. It's fun to play, right? But anyway, back to the auto-aim thing. The other situation is when somebody runs aground. If you're leading a target that's about to run aground, even if you know exactly where he's going to stop and you aim at that exact point, the auto-aim will still shoot into the island trying to lead the target because it's still moving when you fire the trigger. Does not matter where you aim. You think I'm joking? Test it yourself. I'm not. Next time you get into a match and you see somebody about to run aground, aim where you want the shot to go. If you are still locked onto that target and you aim at the spot you want as the target is still moving towards the island and they run aground, your shells will lead them into the island and your shells will miss because of it. It's the same situation that just occurred with that destroyer, only on a different moment. But that's the two positions where you really notice the auto-aim that really screws you over. It doesn't happen all the time, but like I said, you know to look for those situations, and it's incredibly frustrating when it happens, because when you've played as many games as we have, right? Most of us have thousands of games played. You know what you're doing by now. You know where you should aim. You know how much you should lead a target, and so on and so forth. And to have shells just completely whiff because the auto-aim in the game is like, no, he's going to be over here. No, he's turning back to the left. I can aim that direction. Game, stop trying to think for me. I know what I'm doing. But, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed. Is this a new thing for you guys? Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever seen it? Did you ever miss a shot so entirely ridiculously that you were like, wait, what? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video. By the way, happy birthday to me! I am 37 years old, so don't forget to say hey down in the comments below. Wish me a happy birthday. Love you guys.